Gentlemen, and welcome back into another edition of Keytime Sports. It's Key Time, coming back to talk about week 10 of the college football season. Before I get into that, please like, comment, share, subscribe. Keytime Sports right here on YouTube, Key City Sports on Instagram, and the keyonmillions.co. Now, let's get into the week 10 action of college football. Now there was a 3 game slate that I covered, but there's also another game that I am going to cover because I was surprised that this team lost, and you all are going to find out who that team is. Now, Vanderbilt versus Texas. Now, we all know that Texas, at the start of the season, they were ranked one of the best teams in college football. They were ranked number one. Vanderbilt was on nobody's radar at all. Now, all of a sudden, both teams are in the same boat at 7-2. 7-2. Diego Pavia, 27 of 38, 365 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Arch Manning, 25 of 33, 328 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Excuse me. Texas rushing attack cracked 100 yards. Vanderbilt's rushing attack only had 58 because most of the time they were down. And here is the team statistics for this game. Now, there's one thing that I want to say about Vanderbilt. This loss for Vanderbilt is a second tier team. Now, we have Texas as a top tier team. Well, coming into the season, they were a top tier team. Now they are pretty much, as I was saying a few seconds ago, in the same boat as Vanderbilt. Now we see where both of these teams are bowl eligible. Do they make it to the New Year's Six Bowl? We don't know that for sure. Vanderbilt and Texas are similar to each other. You got one quarterback that had a good season last season, came back this season, and is showing the potential of being a superstar talent. Texas, you already have a superstar talent in Arch Manning, but he hasn't started a whole season. Last season, Arch Manning, he played in mop-up duty with Quinn Ewers. Now we get both of them on the same stage, and let me tell you guys something. This game, it was very interesting when it got down to the final minutes. It was very interesting to the point where there were so many clips in this game that I could have choose, but I chose the last minute and a half to 2 minutes. Now I'm going to show you all some clips. Now, this is 1st and 10. Vanderbilt has the ball, and they are down by 10 with under 2 minutes left. Diego Pavia back to pass, and he throws it for a 35-yard gain. And as I was looking at this game, I'm saying to myself, okay, Vanderbilt is going to score. What can Texas do when they get the ball back? And then they get all the way down here and score. After this, on this play they score. Well, not this play, but the next play they score. And we get to a point where it's under 30 seconds and Vanderbilt, they have a chance to win this game. Now here is where the game pretty much was won. This squib kick, and I am going to fast forward this a few seconds rather. Now here it is. This guy, number 13 for the Texas Longhorns, I don't know if he's a part of the hands team, but that was his assignment. And I am going to tell y'all something. If and I do mean if, the Texas Longhorns had a loss, 13 would have not slept well after this game, because the game was right there for the Vanderbilt Commodores. As you can see, somebody from Vanderbilt, they had a chance to recover, but the ball ended up rolling out of bounds, and that is how they lost. Now, look at it. Texas, they had a chance, and this guy, number 70, had a chance to put the ball back in play, but he didn't. And now we get to the point where do both of these teams see each other in a bowl game? I wouldn't be surprised if Vanderbilt and Texas saw each other again in a bowl game, but I don't think that they're going to a New Year's Six bowl. I just don't think that. So now we get to the point where Texas offense, this is the first time that we saw Texas at home since September 20th. So they were on a 5-game road stand. Now they get back home, they win. Vanderbilt, they have some things to work on, and they need to go back to the drawing board and get ready for their next opponent. But all in all, this was a very intriguing game. Looked like it was going to be a blowout when it was 34-17, but Vanderbilt, they fought back, made it interesting at the end, but Texas won it in the end. The next game I'm going to cover is the Oklahoma Sooners and the Tennessee Volunteers. Boomer Sooner went into Neyland Stadium and won when nobody thought that they were going to be able to. Now, when we get to the Oklahoma Sooners, John Mateer, 19 of 29, 159 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception. So I had a lot of people ask me Saturday, Keytime, what do you take away from this game? Both of these teams are in the same boat, but Tennessee, they're 6-3. Like I said a couple weeks ago, Tennessee will not make it to the college football playoff. Tomorrow night, College Football Playoff Committee unveils their first ever rankings for this current season. Oklahoma is 7-2. Now you got 3 teams in the SEC. Scratch that, 4 teams in the SEC that are 7-2. Oklahoma, Vanderbilt, Texas, and you also have this mystery team that I'm thinking of. Ole Miss. Ole Miss is also 7-2. Now we get to a point where it's a crowded SEC. Texas A&M is 8-0. There are 4 teams in college football that are still undefeated. Texas A&M is one of them. BYU Cougars are another. And there are 2 other teams that we didn't expect to be 8-0 at this point in the season. Now, they are going to have to possibly make room for them in the college football playoff rankings. Can they? It remains to be seen. And one thing I can say this, I'm going to say this to the College Football Committee, and I hope the College Football Playoff Committee is watching this. Please, please, please put, I know that they are going to put Alabama in there, that we don't even have to question that, because we all know that Alabama brings the money, Ohio State brings the money. We all know those type of teams brings the money. But do not put a below average team in the playoff picture and all of a sudden the game becomes a blowout. We don't want to see that. We don't want to see that as fans. We don't want to see that as journalists. And it's not good for the sport of college football. It's not, because you have all of these sponsors for college football, all of these sponsors for these universities that pump money into these events, and for a game to be a blowout, it's like, Why did we just waste money? Why did we just waste money on this game? That's what I'm thinking about. Excuse me. Now, one thing that I can say about the Tennessee Volunteers is this team early in the season they were full of hype, but when the Tennessee Volunteers they start playing legitimate competition, they start looking like a shell of themselves. Like you can see, the rushing attack for the Tennessee Volunteers was not up to par. It was only 63 yards. Do y'all see this? 63 yards. And like I've been saying, for you to have a dominant, well, Tennessee is the best offense in college football. For you to have a dominant offense in college football and your rushing attack doesn't average at least 150 yards against an Oklahoma defense that has really been allowing over 28 points per game 3 of the last 4 weeks, that doesn't look good. And Tennessee, they had their chance of winning this game. If Joey Aguilar doesn't throw 2 interceptions, if penalties doesn't happen, I'm going to show y'all some penalties. I am going to show y'all the penalties in this game. Look at this. Look at this. Oklahoma had 11 penalties for 104 yards. Tennessee only had 3 penalties for 25 yards. When I look at this, I'm dumbfounded. I really am, because Tennessee, they were supposed to win this game, but turnovers. Those turnovers, they hurt them. And as you can see, third down efficiency. Oklahoma, they didn't have a good night on third down. 4 of 10, and Tennessee was 7 of 13. See, the Tennessee Volunteers, they are in the same boat as the Miami Hurricanes. And I'm going to talk about the Miami Hurricanes a little bit later on in the show, because I don't like what I saw from Miami versus SMU. I don't. But back to the game that I'm talking about. Tennessee, a good bowl team. That is the only thing that Tennessee is able to do, is get a bowl game. Oklahoma, they have a chance at getting a bowl game and getting into the college football playoff. Now, it's a 12-team college football playoff. It is 12 teams. 12 teams, and there's so much, and I do mean so much, that can happen with a 12-team college football playoff. But Tennessee will always find a way to lose a game that they are favored in. They lost to Georgia early in the season in a game that they was favored by. They lost to Oklahoma Saturday night in a game that they was favored by. Tennessee, they didn't do themselves any favors. Tennessee is not making the college football playoff no matter what. They can win out their next 4 games and go 10-3. Well, excuse me. They can win out their final 3 games and go 9-3. But Tennessee, are they really a formidable college football playoff opponent? I don't think so. Now, here is some clips from the game that I am going to show y'all. The last 2 minutes of the game. Last 2 minutes. Y'all look at this. First and goal. Game was pretty much, out of reach after John Mateer goes in and score a touchdown. But I'm about to show y'all something. This highlight, field goal is good from 48. Onside kick. Tennessee didn't get it. And you get to a point where those 2 turnovers start to loom large. That fumble that Tennessee had in the third quarter starts to loom large. And it really starts to loom large because we all know that Tennessee is a formidable opponent. Joey Aguilar, hey, I'm trying to get him on the show because I like his story and I like the type of team that Josh Heupel has. But there has got to be signature games where Tennessee can win. Now, credit, Tennessee had a signature game a couple years ago against Alabama, but it seemed like that is the only game that they can go back on. Last season, they really didn't have a signature game. They didn't have a quality win. This season, Tennessee schedule, and I'm gonna show y'all the Tennessee schedule. Quality wins. They don't have a quality win on the schedule at all. They don't. Syracuse, nobody. East Tennessee State, nobody. UAB, nobody. When they play against upper echelon competition, that's when they start to run into trouble. That's when they start to run into trouble. So that's all I have to say for the Oklahoma Sooners and the Tennessee Volunteers. The next game I am going to cover, and it was pretty much a blowout because I called this game early in the third quarter. Utah and Cincinnati. Both Cincinnati teams are hurting right now. Cincinnati Bearcats and the Cincinnati Bengals. Brandon Sorsby, 11 of 33, 221 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Davion Demper, 16 of 31, 213 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. And you can see, look at the rushing attack. I mean, this game was supposed to be close. It was supposed to be close. And when you see the rushing attack, you see that the Utah Utes had 276 yards. And you see where the Cincinnati Bearcats have over 200 yards, 206 to be exact. I said in my pregame show Friday that the Cincinnati Bearcats defense, they allow an average of opponents scoring 85%, touchdowns of 85% on their possessions. Cincinnati Bearcats, they don't have a defense, and the Cincinnati Bengals don't have a defense. Now, we get back to the Big 12 Conference Championship game, and it's starting to look good. I mean, Utah, they did lose to BYU last week before Saturday, but I would not be surprised if I see BYU and the Utah Utes in the Big 12 Championship in another month or so. Because the Utah Utes, and I'm not going to show any clips from this game because it was a blowout and 98% of the clips will be Utah's. So one last thing I'm going to say is that when it comes to this game, the Utah Utes, they did themselves a whole lot of favors. Excuse me for a minute. Yeah, the Utah Utes, they did what they had to do. The Cincinnati Bearcats are 7-2. The Utah Utes are 7-2. But there's BYU, there's Utah, and then there's the Cincinnati Bearcats. Now, here is the team statistics for this game, and it was pretty much one-sided. Penalties, Cincinnati Bearcats, 8 penalties for 60 yards. Penalties for Utah, 5 penalties, 30 yards. Total yards, 480. Y'all see what I'm saying here? I said this in the pregame show where Cincinnati, they don't have a defense. They have a good offense, but a good offense needs to have a complementary defense. But Cincinnati, they don't have that. They don't. Utah, you did yourself favors in this game. Cincinnati Bearcats, you didn't do yourself any favors. And that's all I have to say for the Cincinnati Bearcats and the Utah Utes. Now there's one game, and I'm pretty sure everybody don't know what game I'm going to talk about, but there's one game on this list that I really, really got to talk about. And it's the Miami Hurricanes and the Utah Utes. I really don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say about the Miami Hurricanes as a team because every season since 2002, I've been hearing Miami Hurricane fans saying, the U is back, the U is back, the U is back. And then you have slip ups like this. Now I'm not gonna blame it on the defensive player that hit the quarterback because the game shouldn't even got to this point. It really hasn't. And my guy Michael Irvin, I saw him at the game, and I mean he was stressed out. Miami Hurricane fans are stressed out. But as far as the Miami fan base, what they shouldn't have done and what shouldn't have happened was Miami, they shouldn't have put themselves in this position. They shouldn't, because when you look at the statistics, Carson Beck, 28 of 38, 274 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to show any clips of this game because the game shouldn't have been this close. It really shouldn't have been, because they were a 10.5-point favorite. The Hurricanes were. And then before the game, it went down to 8 or 7.5. And then I'm saying to myself, I'm like, okay, Las Vegas is expecting a close game. But I did not expect it to go into overtime. If I'm Mario Cristobal when it comes to this game, now me, I'm not a person that's lost for words, but if I'm the Miami head coach right now, I'm saying to myself, we didn't do ourselves any favors with this game. The game shouldn't have been close. Miami should have been up by 17 points going into the fourth quarter. They should have. But like I said, it's always in college football any given Saturday. Always, always. And not to even mention the disparity against the both rushing attacks in this game was downright ridiculous. 159 yards rushing for the Miami Hurricanes and only 23 measly yards for the SMU Mustangs. I don't know if you are a Miami Hurricane fan. I don't even know what to say. What to say to your fan base right now? Cause I mean there's always teams that credit. They lose games, but the way the Miami Hurricanes lost this game, they were leading for 72% of this game. And somehow you let it get into overtime and Carson Beck throws an interception, and that gives SMU all of the confidence in the world to go down and score a touchdown. Miami Hurricanes didn't do themselves any favors. And as you can look, when it comes to the statistics, SMU, 3 of 13 on third down. And what do I always say? Teams that go 3 of 13, 4 of 12 on third down in a football game should lose. They should. But then you got the Miami Hurricanes when it comes to penalties. They messed it up. 12 penalties for 96 yards. That's basically the game right there. So many holding penalties on the offense and the defense, and that is exactly why the Miami Hurricanes lost this game. Miami Hurricanes dominated in time of possession by a whole quarter, and they still lost. So that's all I got to say for the Miami Hurricanes. Miami Hurricanes, you need to go back to the drawing board. Here is the current rankings for going into week 11 of the college football season. As far as the top four, I have no problem with it. Top three, you got three really good teams. You got Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M. Then you get down to BYU, which is number 8. And then there are no more undefeated teams on this list. I mean, Texas, they beat Vanderbilt, so I knew Texas was going to go up, and Vanderbilt, they dropped to 15. Tennessee, they dropped to 23. And Cincinnati, they shouldn't even be in the rankings. They really shouldn't. So, next thing we look forward to is tomorrow night. College football playoff rankings will be unveiled at 8 p.m. Tuesday, November 4th, 8 p.m. on ESPN. They will be released. Now, for all of the people that do not have access to ESPN, ABC on YouTube TV, Wednesday, I will give my reaction to the college football playoff rankings. So, everybody who doesn't have ESPN on YouTube TV, you are not out of the woods yet when it comes to you are going to be able to see my reaction for the college football playoff rankings, because I know that over the past few days, YouTube TV and all of these other networks, they have had quite a few disagreements, but that is why Keytime Sports is always at your service when it comes to analytics, when it comes to analysis, and when it comes to player and game matchups. So Wednesday, I will be doing a college football reaction show. And I think I will be doing a basketball segment too. I'm not totally sure, but you may see me twice on Wednesday. I'm not totally sure, but all in all, this was a great show. This was very, very quick because we didn't have that much to talk about. And as far as the clips concerned, not many clips were shown in this video. So, one last thing I could say, please like, comment, share, subscribe. Keytime Sports right here on YouTube. Key City Sports on Instagram, and the key on millions.co. We also have some very special guests that will be coming on the show. The dates are not official yet, so everybody, please, please, please keep that in mind. We will have celebrity guests coming on the show in the future, and we will have celebrity guests coming on the show in the future. And as of right now, there are plenty of things in motion for both shows right now, Keytime Sports and Key City Sports. And I want y'all to be along for the ride, because we are about to go into year 3. 2026 is right around the corner, and at the end of next month, I will give you all a motivational video for your 2026 goals. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Keytime Sports on YouTube, Key City Sports on Instagram, and the key on millions.co. And remember, everybody, one last thing. The key is always on time.